What's going on, everybody? Thanks so much for stopping by another live episode of Real Estate Titans. I'm your host, Greg Fowler, traveling throughout the marketplace, interviewing the top real estate professionals in our field, from realtors, lenders, builders, developers, residential or commercial, essentially gathering insight, inspiration, really drives and motivates these top producers above and beyond everybody else, and what I'd like to consider a real estate titan. Our very special guest and feature titan for today, Athena Brownson. Athena?
Greg, so good to see you.
This
Thank you for having me. We're going to have so much fun.
I'm honored to have you. I know there's huge anticipation for everybody just to really dive deep into
so
getting
much
to know you.
Anticipation.
Here we go. Here we go. Well, let's just dive in.
Okay.
Start telling with everybody a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, my name is Athena Brownson. Actually, Athena Sophocles Brownson, if you want to get extra
Love that.
Greek.
Okay. Yes, this is great.
Yeah, I'm 28 years old. This is my couch.
Awesome. So, by the way, this couch is killer. It's so cool.
No, yeah, so I'm actually a Colorado native,
Okay.
Born and raised in Breckenridge. My parents were big ski bums, turned super, professionals. They figured it out well.
Okay.
Ended up in Breckenridge. So I pretty much grew up on snow. My dad was a professional skier,
Wow.
so I learned how to ski when I was 2 years old. It was kind of one of those things where it was innate in my blood forever. And so yeah, my dad's a residential real estate builder and developer actually.
Okay.
But growing up, I really had zero interest in that.
The truth.
Yeah,
The truth.
I was, it really involved me like following him on the job sites, and it was freezing cold and I wanted to be doing other things.
Sure.
So to me, it was just kind of an annoyance. But in hindsight, it was probably some of the most valuable experience I could have had.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, my whole world really revolved around skiing my whole life.
Okay.
So
Wow.
I'd say, when I was 15, I went pro. So I was a professional skier for 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think that kind of encompasses my character. I was skiing 300 days a year for 10 years, and I'd blow a knee and then rehab it, and then blow another knee and then rehab it, and then go compete, and then that was my existence. So it definitely taught hard work, even though I didn't really quite realize what it would translate to later in life.
Okay.
It definitely formed who I am in my core, and I think I ended up living in all sorts of countries. I lived in Chile and Argentina and New Zealand and Germany, and it was a really, really incredible life experience, but I never had any plans of what I was going to do after that. I think I was so in love with my craft.
Right.
But I finally decided to go to college, and my mom's actually an art teacher. So
I love that.
growing up, I had a developer as a father / ski racer extraordinaire, and an artist as a mother, and I really am like the perfect combination of the two of them, because I became in love with art. So I decided, why not try interior design? So I went to college and I got a degree in art history and interior design. And to me, that was, I envisioned myself creating beautiful spaces that I had seen throughout the times of art. I love looking back at the history of art and architecture and finding different design elements that you can really put into modern execution, which is obviously not done a ton, but it's something that I'm absolutely in love with.
Sure.
So I graduated college at CU Boulder, and I got a job in interior design, and I loved it, and then I was really over it in like a year.
Wow,
I was
seriously?
like, well, crap. I thought I had it all figured out. Didn't have it figured out. I was like 22.
Okay, sure.
So funny how that happens. But no, I got introduced to this really lovely girl. I'm still friends with her. Named Charlotte.
Okay.
If you're interested in, you should go to Bozeman, Montana. Actually,
Okay. This
Charlotte
is an official
Clausen.
shout out.
Yeah, Charlotte, this is for you. She's probably busy.
Come on,
Yeah,
Charlotte.
she's a titan. So she was a realtor at the New Era Group at the time.
Okay.
This is 5 years ago, and she said, hey, I think you'd be really good at real estate. Have you ever thought about it? And it had literally never crossed my mind. But she sat me down with the owner of our company, John Stegner, who is probably, if you know him, he's like the lightest, most happy, wonderful human being in the whole world. So I had lunch with him, and within 30 minutes decided that real estate was what I wanted to do, and I quit my job the next day and I had actually just blown out my 9th knee.
Wow.
So I know.
Jeez. 9, you know, we only have 2, but this is the 9th time this has happened.
They work fine, they're fine. And yeah, so I decided to quit my job. I got my knee fixed, and while I recovered, I got my real estate license.
Wow.
And that was 5 years ago in June, so like 2 weeks ago.
Unbelievable.
So that's my life.
Yeah, well, you know, and that's
you
a huge background in for everybody. I mean, the
That's
amount of you know, representation from your father and your mother, I think, is a beautiful meld of who you are, which you said, I love that. The skiing and the discipline with that. I mean, anybody in Colorado who's a very avid active skier, that pro level is no joke.
It's an addiction.
9 knees later,
yeah.
right?
And a neck. I just got a new neck 2 years ago, so that's cool.
This is crazy.
I'm bionic, it's fine.
Which is awesome. It makes the transactions right.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
And I love the transition, you know, having your background in interior design and really having an eye for it. And I truly believe that represents and transitions into your clients today. So
oh, totally. I just finished staging my client's house for them like 30 minutes before you got here.
Yeah, it never stops.
I know, it doesn't.
So with that, I mean, going into real estate, I think that's a huge background into what's going on, and I definitely want to give people a little deeper dive into your why, because that really matters to everybody. Is, you know, we all get up the same way and we go through life, but some of us are a little bit more passionate about what we do and what comes through. So what's your why? I mean, what really motivates you? What drives you every day to do what you do to the level you do it at?
Totally. So that's actually, I got so excited when I saw that you had that question on there, because I think that asking yourself and understanding what your why is such a, it's kind of what helps you build your moral compass, and helps you build your identity in the marketplace. And for me, I think business and life are one in one. Obviously, when we're in real estate, you work all the time.
Oh, yeah.
So what is going to be pushing you to want to work all the time? For me, it's multifaceted. So the why starts with, okay, why do I want to be the best at what I do? I think that would be the why for anything I did career-wise. It wouldn't just be real estate, but I want to know that everything I do, I'm doing it to the best of my ability.
Okay.
So my why to work hard in this field is because I want to be the best for myself. Not, you know, that translates well with your clients, of course, because you want to be the best for them.
Sure.
But I want to be doing the best I possibly can every day, because, you know, we have one life and you have this one opportunity, and we might as well give it our all. So for me, the why is to be my best. And then it's also to make sure that, you know, I'm representing my clients in a way that they can trust. We're, you know, helping people with some of the biggest transitions of their life, buying or selling real estate. And if they can't, you know, if your why isn't so that you can trustfully and knowledgeably get your client from, you know, finding a property to closing or selling, then you're really doing a disservice to your clientele. So yeah, for me, it's, you know, helping people to the best of my ability, and then also being the best I could possibly be.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that.
Keeps me up at night.
Well, but you think about that, but there's so many producers, right, that are going to that level.
Yeah, totally.
You bring it.
It's competitive.
But that's healthy. You know, and so many people are going to understand that watching or listening to this right now. Because I think it really drives a lot of people to truly be the best. And you said, obviously, for goals and things that are going on, but that, as you said, it transfers to your clients.
Definitely.
You being the best representative and really growing and helping them, guiding them through this process.
It's a big, scary beast, real estate. I mean, you're making one of the biggest purchases and decisions of your life, and you want to be able to have that advocate that's there, that's constantly learning and wanting to grow and be better, and, you know, that you can form a relationship with. I'm such a huge believer in relationship-based business. And I want to get to know my clients, whether I'm helping a friend that I've known for 10 years, or whether I run into someone at a coffee shop and end up getting, finding out they need a realtor. I want to build a relationship with my client, and that's what creates long-term success. And happy customers. It's like, let's actually get to know each other. This isn't just a transaction.
Okay, and
Yeah.
I love the fact that you mentioned that, Athena, and I think that this is going to be a great transition into the next question.
Hit me with it.
Yes, here we go. A lot of people who are watching or listening, they want to know what the Titans are doing or have done to grow their business, right? To really
Totally.
scale. So if you could look back at your business thus far, pick or choose one or two things that you added that took it from one level to the next.
Yeah.
What's that look like for you?
Okay, number one. So, as many of you know, you go to real estate school and you're so excited, and then you realize that most of what you're learning in real estate school isn't actually going to be applicable in your day-to-day life.
100 right here.
Yeah, so like I said, when I sat down with John Stegner over lunch 5 years ago, I was so captivated by the genuine interest he had in helping young brokers get their footing. So when I first got my license, I followed everything he did. I literally shadowed him to the point where it probably drove him nuts. But I would, hey, are you doing showings today? Can I come? Hey, do you need help doing a CMA? I'm trying to practice. Can you look over it? Hey, do you need help at an open house? So the first thing I would say is find a mentor, find an agent that's got experience that you relate to, on a personal level, that you see how they see, and then follow everything they do. It's the best possible schooling you could ever get.
Wow.
Take notes. See how you can make their lives easier. Do you need help with showings? Can I do an open house for you? Can I take a stab at your CMA, and then maybe you can review it with me? So that was the best thing I ever did. And like I said, Charlotte also, the Titan to be.
Yes.
She taught me everything she knew too, and it was asking questions and being in the office. I remember like a couple days after I started with New Era, she said, you see these people at the office for like 6 or 7 hours, you need to be here for like 10. Like, you just got started, you might feel like you have nothing to do, but like find classes, shadow people, be in the office before and after everyone leaves.
Great advice.
Isn't that great? I was terrified at the time. I was like, okay. And then as real estate evolves, like I said, I'm celebrating 5 years in the business as of last week. It's crazy how time flies.
Yeah.
Definitely have a couple gray hairs, but it's fine.
It's good. It's battle scars.
Yeah, it's character.
Yes.
Continue to learn, keep growing. Like I always try and find different classes to hone in on my skill sets. I have a coach that I talk to 2 times a month that I've been doing since a year into the business. I never know everything, and no one ever will. And as quickly as technology is developing and growing, there's always room to improve our business. And I also think that having accountability is the biggest thing. So with the New Era group and with my coach, we do different accountability practices. I have something called my Quest to Conquer the World. It's an Excel spreadsheet that I print out every week, and it has all the activities that I have to get done for the week. And if I'm not doing that, not only am I letting myself down, but my coach will probably want to kick my butt a little bit.
Love that.
And so will all my coworkers. You have to keep each other accountable. So having a group to, that really has my best interests at heart and will portray that through my accountability, and I think that's huge. So find a good group, find your tribe, and then stick with them, and then go to classes with them, and then go have a drink after that and talk about the class.
That's right. That's equally important.
Like wine is key to real estate.
Wine and real estate, either way, and people.
They're okay.
I think that's huge advice. For everybody out there. So if you guys are taking good notes onto that, or really listening deep
Write
in
that down.
it's huge. I mean, really surround yourself with great people.
Yeah.
And continually asking questions, continually learning, I think is key.
For anything in life, like for anything we're doing, we should be continually figuring out how to evolve and grow and learn and adapt, and that'll help live our best lives.
Love this.
Yes.
This is great. This is so far amazing
Some
info.
wisdom.
Yes, it's falling upon everybody, so hopefully you enjoy this. I do want to go into the next question.
Okay.
This one ends up being the tricky part of
Ooh.
this interview and this series. It's the challenge.
That was the
question.
water.
We're like, hold on, everybody, here we go. But at the end of the day, we all deal with challenges in our lives. It's whether it's in the past, now, or in the future. We're all people, but everybody has to go through this in our lives at some point. But I'm a firm believer. It's not so much what happens, but how we respond and learn from it. Really makes a difference. So, if you're comfortable
Oh.
sharing with everybody a challenge you dealt with.
I will
what's that look
spill
like?
out my heart to you guys.
Here we go. You better appreciate
Just
this,
kidding.
everybody. Here we go.
No, I agree. You know, we're human beings and everyone has struggles big and small, and I don't think any of them can, you know, be compared to others.
Right.
So recently, I think I have found my greatest challenge.
Okay.
So I actually got diagnosed with Lyme's disease like 3 or 4 months ago. So I know, isn't that crazy?
It's crazy.
But it's actually really exciting. I'll
Okay.
explain why. So the last couple of years, like 2.5 years ago, I broke my neck skiing, believe it or not. Super exciting, whatever. Got neck surgery, it feels amazing. But afterward, I kept getting a series of really strange different illnesses. It's like I'd get a stomach infection, and then something else would happen, and all of these things, and I'm like, I'm 28, I'm healthy, like I don't understand why I'm having all of these health issues. And my boyfriend actually is a doctor, so that was cool.
Okay. Nice to have that on hand.
Casual,
You know? Yes.
whatever. And he was like, yeah, there's something underlying for sure. And whereas a lot of doctors I went to would kind of look at like this, treating the surface ailments as they came, it was like, okay, what's the root cause of everything that's underlying?
Okay.
So I got tested for Lyme disease, and I was like, I've never been bit by a tick, like, I don't even know what a tick is, like, who has Lyme disease? I'm from Colorado, like, I was like, there's no way. Sure enough, like, 10 out of 10, I have Lyme disease,
Wow.
and it's attacked, like, you know, it basically attacks the way that your own body would create energy, or it looks at whatever your genetic predispositions are and like attacks what your weaknesses are. So for me, it was like, I am so tired all the time. And for, you know, a competitive athletic background, I'm a workaholic, and I want to be moving from like 7 a.m. until 11 p.m.
Non-stop.
Yeah, like that's my happy place. I thrive there. So when I get really, really exhausted and these bouts of like feeling like a baby sloth, I literally, or like walking through jello, it's very frustrating. So I found out I had Lyme disease like 3 months ago. And for me, it's the most exciting thing ever because it's like, yeah, this is why your energy has sucked and this is how we're gonna fix it.
Okay.
So it's really taught me, and is continually teaching me and will teach me. I started treatment 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And the first week I was not completely knocked out. So I was tired and I had a fever, and it's like, it was horrible, but it's perspective on how to use the hours in the day to my highest and best use. So if I feel like crap, but I have 2 hours in the morning that I'm like functioning, and I'm able to get, you know, if I have like a spreadsheet, a checklist of all the things I need to get done, it's teaching me how to really, really use my time precisely and accurately, and just to be grateful for days we do feel good, because you know, there's so many different things that will come up in life and throughout my life and my career where I'm not always going to feel awesome.
Right.
And I think for me, it's really digging into taking care of myself. Like, I have a tendency to, you know, just work through whatever. It's like, oh, I feel like crap, but
I'm good.
I'm good. I'll go show you 15 houses. And it's a little bit of self-love, self-care, take a step back when I'm not feeling good. I've got the most amazing work family in the whole world. I say family with all my heart.
That matters.
Because, yeah, I've got a team of incredible agents that will drop everything that they're doing to make sure that I have client support, or, hey, I need help with an open house this weekend, or, hey, I don't feel so hot and I've got showings, you know, across the universe.
Right.
I've got people that will drive across the universe to show my clients, and I know that I can trust them because they are agents that take so much pride in what they do, and I can trust my clients with them without having to worry.
Wow.
So it's really just like learning my own, you know, like what my boundaries are, and learning delegation. And I think it's like a beautiful life skill that, you know, in 6 months Lyme's disease butt will be kicked and I'll be fine, but I'll have these beautiful skills to carry with me forever. So I think it's a huge exciting thing. It's like, it bums me out 0%. It just fuels me up to, you know, want to work harder and be better and be healthier, and I just like can't wait to see you know, what I can accomplish when I'm going at full battery. Because right now I feel like I'm like half Energizer Bunny.
This is half right now, everybody. So hopefully you're feeling this energy right now.
I know.
It's huge.
This
It's
is
awesome.
only half.
This is so
Be
great.
afraid.
Yes, in a good way. But Athena, I mean, thank you so much for sharing that, because
Yeah.
it's not easy to, you know, really talk about.
No,
certain
I
things
have.
that-
I don't think there's like 6 people that know that. I haven't told very many people. So
Okay.
there you go.
We appreciate it,
Yeah.
everybody who's watching or listening, but the perspective is so beautiful. What you said there is just so inspiring for so many of us who are dealing with any health issues or anything like that. Just understand that there are good days and bad days, and we all deal with them. Do the best you can, learn and grow, and don't let it take you down, right?
Totally.
And I love the time management and understanding, hey, if I got 2 good hours, this is how I'm going to rock this out. When this is all said and done, I mean,
I'm gonna have a lot more good hours.
it's incredible. I mean,
Yeah.
that is so huge for all
Totally.
of us to take away. And if you're not dealing with any illnesses, then there's definitely no excuse. You really just gotta keep pushing through. I mean, look at what you do, right? So
Yeah,
this is insane.
totally. I got number 1 agent last month.
Congrats.
It was last month, April, 2 months ago, whatever.
I mean,
Yeah.
just think about that. And
Anything's
again,
possible.
yes, this is huge message, everybody. So appreciate this. I do.
Yeah.
This is great. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
of
I want to
course.
shift gears into a slightly softer question.
Okay, fine.
Now this one ends up being actually one of my favorites, is the travel back in time.
Okay.
So if you could travel back in time and give your younger self a piece of advice or two in any age range, time frame, what would you say to young Athena?
Gosh, okay, so I'm gonna like 2-part this question.
Did it, yeah.
Because number 1, I am a firm believer that like the only reason I'm here and doing what I'm doing is because of everything I've done previously. So like for me, I'm not huge on like, oh, I would have changed something, because I really do believe like every failure, every heartbreak, everything we do wrong, every mistake we make, like it really forms the person that we are today. So I don't really have any regrets. I don't think I would have said like, you shouldn't have dated that silly boy or like
Right.
But I would say and I think this is such a human condition as well, is we have this tendency to fixate on how things are supposed to be or what we should be doing and then worry about it. So I think when I was young, I was such a perfectionist for skiing and everything else that I would just stress myself out. And I think I would have just said like, lighten up, everything to worry about. So yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
But I think that, I don't look back and wish I did anything differently. I think that everything we encounter and do ends up putting us where we're supposed to be. So
Agreed.
just chill out a little bit, like everything will be fine.
But I think that's huge notes for everybody, who's watching or listening, myself included, is, sometimes we do take ourselves a little too seriously.
Especially
so
in this
many-
business.
Oh gosh, entrepreneurs and self-driven, and you're truly the CEO of your life. And,
Totally.
and I get it, but it's gonna work out. You put the time in, you do the right things the right way with the right people, it's gonna happen. So over-stressing is not gonna help the situation.
No. I think something I've learned too, especially in real estate, is that, you go to a lot of classes or seminars, and a lot of them tend to be antiquated. Obviously now there's so much that's blossoming, and there's so much knowledge and amazing mentors, but we each have our own ways of being successful. And I think to look at someone else's success and how they attained it and try and compare your own abilities or what you should be doing to that isn't necessarily like the best way to go about things. So for me, like when I got started, it was, you need to be calling 50 people a day, and you need to be doing all these activities that didn't necessarily feel natural to me at the time. That doesn't mean I haven't like grown and evolved into being more comfortable with things like that, but it's really looking at what you're good at and what you're comfortable, like what your happy abilities are, and then building your business and your career off those. So like instead of worrying about like, well, Doug over here next to me is calling 50 people a day and I just don't feel comfortable. It's like, well, what is my skill set? What am I really good at? And then how can I keep myself accountable to doing those things? Because I used to worry so much about like, oh my God, I didn't go to 4 networking events this week. Like, how am I ever going to succeed? And it's like, that isn't necessarily going to be what my successful place is, because I don't do well in large group settings. So don't worry too much about what other people are doing as much as like keeping yourself accountable to what you're good at and what you're going to be doing.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is awesome. I mean, this is so good, Athena. This is unreal. You're welcome again, everybody.
You're welcome.
This is awesome. This is awesome. So I will have information and things broken down for everybody to kind of follow along and through, especially with this next question here, which is actually a crowd pleaser. A lot of the viewers, subscribers of this particular series, they want to know also what the Titans are doing to feed their minds. Right, so we've talked about discussions of mentorships, things like that, but I'll lead into it with, books you're reading or read, podcasts you're listening to, influencers and social media coaches. Cool. How are you feeding your mind?
Oh my gosh, so I'm obsessed with this, and it is going to be multifaceted, and hopefully I won't run on for the next 10 years.
Let's do it. Run on.
Okay, so multiple things. First of all, for me, keeping my brain healthy means keeping my body healthy. So I work out with a trainer every day who's a kind of a coach, and we do a lot of neurocognitive feedback. So I do a lot of brain training to make sure that I'm keeping my brain sharp, especially through all of the Lyme's disease stuff.
Yeah.
So I work with a coach that kind of goes through brain training with me. So that's step one. Step two, I love audiobooks. So being a realtor, obviously I'm in my car all the time. I love real paper books too, but it'd be dangerous to read and drive.
I've seen that on the highway before in LA.
Yeah,
I've seen that happen. That's pretty crazy.
They're probably going 5 miles an hour because it's LA traffic.
That's true.
So, I just finished listening to an audiobook called Sell It Like Sirhant.
Okay.
And it's from Ryan on $1 Million Listing, which I also consider to be great learning, knowledge gaining. $1 Million Listing, love it.
For sure.
And I loved his enthusiasm. I just listened to it twice. So I loved that book. I just finished 10X by Darren Hardy. I love his concepts on dreaming bigger. So one of the things I love most about that book is, you think you have a goal for the year. So a lot of us, we sit down at the beginning of the year and we set a goal for how many houses we want to sell, what we want our income to look like, and he says times that by 10, so the 10X rule.
Sure.
So it just, gets me thinking a lot bigger. How do I want to dream bigger? Because if I set my goal initially for this, and then I fall short, I'm here. But if I set my goal for this, and then I fall short, maybe I'm here. So I feel like that's a good life motto.
Sure.
I listen to a podcast called Almost 30. It's a health and wellness-based podcast. It has nothing to do with business, but it's kind of looking at life from a whole and feeding our minds and bodies and spirits accordingly. What else? I read, I do podcasts, I talk to my friends, I go to a lot of classes. Recently, one of my favorite lenders started doing these, what does he call it? Millennial pop-ups. Dan Brown, this is for you.
Interesting.
He does millennial pop-ups, and he gets a bunch of millennials together. Not only millennials, but it's geared at millennials. And we do an improv roundtable on topics that he brings up and kind of feeds this insight into them throughout accordingly. So that's my favorite, is how can I utilize these incredible people that I'm surrounded by to push myself to be better. We do coffee club at the New Era group every Monday where we feed off of each other, how we're being the most successful in our field, what we're struggling with, and how to help one another. I think the list goes on, but that's all that's coming to my brain right now.
No, that's great. I mean, there's so many takeaways, and what I love is going back to the earlier part of this interview is constant learning, right? Constant growing and always doing that, but you're getting it from physical books, audio books, you're getting it from the people that are around you, these different coffee meetings, mastermind, think tanks.
Do you have a favorite podcast?
Gosh, I do. It's a Tim Ferriss podcast.
Oh, I love Tim Ferriss.
So he's a super cool guy. That's probably one of my favorites on top of that. I'm a little biased. I like the Real Estate Titans podcast.
I like it too.
I think there's some cool people on here.
Okay.
But
drop us some comments on what podcasts you like too, or books. Great. I'm always interested. I'm always learning. There's so much I don't know, so I'm like, feed me knowledge.
That's huge. Yeah, and please do that, everybody. So if there's podcasts, things like that, we want to always
other than Real Estate Titans, which you should share with your friends.
Yes, please. Always appreciate it. No, this is so great. And as always, everybody, I'm going to have links in the comments down below so you can learn and grow the same way that Athena is and does every day. This has been huge.
Good.
Chock full of amazing information, takeaways, utilizing this great information for all entrepreneurs, not just real estate. I want to wrap everything up with a final question.
Yeah.
This one ends up being the quote or the mantra that you go by.
So when Greg sent me the questions for today, I saw that and I was like, I don't know, I have 90 mantras that I run through my head at all times. But one, okay, I'm gonna do two actually.
Yeah.
Okay, so one is that I love is actually from the movie Almost Famous, which is kind of corny. But it's all happening. So I'm like this huge believer in manifesting your reality and creating it through positive thought and action. And I think for me, it's just the quote, "It's all happening," is like, yes, everything that you desire is happening in your life. And the second is something that my coach told me on the phone just a couple weeks ago, and it's work like you're broke.
Okay.
So I just had the best month of my career, which was so exciting in April.
Awesome.
And I was telling him, I was like, I'm having a hard time getting in a really good rhythm. I think some of that's just at summer.
Yeah.
We kind of are all over the place, traveling, doing things. But he said, yeah, Athena, it's because you just had a great month and you're probably being complacent. And I was like, me? I'm not being complacent. Did you just see my greatness tracker? I just filled it out. He's like, just because you're going through the motions doesn't mean that you're necessarily like putting everything you have into it. So he said, you need to look and work every day like you're broke. And I said, man, that's really, really good feedback. I actually written right there and right there. Work like you're broke. So every morning you wake up and it's, just pretend that it's a fresh start and a clean slate and you need to work like you're broke. So that's my current motto.
I love it. And I think that sums you up beautifully. Again, the work ethic, the drive, the legacy that you're laying before you. Most days, everybody. You're being modest in here. I think that just that high level of achieving, and again, translating that into your real estate business, it's all there. So
thank you.
I'm honored to have you. You're an official real estate titan.
Yay!
So
Feeling
this is
like
awesome.
a titan.
This is great, everybody. And as always, thank you so much for your time and attention, your love and support. If you like what we're doing here at Real Estate Titans, don't forget to like the Facebook page, subscribe on YouTube, and take a listen on iTunes, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. Live every Tuesday and Friday afternoon, a different Titan, a different location. We'll catch everybody on the next live episode of Real Estate Titans. Take care.
Thank you.